The Nigerian army has begged the Biafra Liberation Army to cease fire after their clash in Okigwe, Imo State. The Biafra Liberation Army has been a difficult obstacle to tackle by the Nigeria military. Right now, they are calling on public cooperation from the local communities in providing information to identify and neutralize the Biafra Liberation Army. Meanwhile, IPOB Director of Social, DOS, has denied Simon Ekpa's membership, saying he is a Finland-based content creator and not a member of the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB. This news report appears to be a detailed narration of events involving the Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Simon Ekpa, and related issues concerning the Biafra movement, including clarifications and denials from IPOB about affiliations. It also references military operations in Okigwe, Imo State between the Nigerian army and the Biafra Liberation Army. IPOB disowns Simon Ekpa and denies any connection between its organization and Ekpa's activities or claims as part of the Biafra movement. It was a quiet morning in Okigwe, a bustling town in Imo State, when everything suddenly changed. The air, which was filled with the typical hum of daily activities, quickly turned heavy with tension. This was not the first time trouble had erupted in the area, but this time it felt different. The clash between the Nigerian army and the Biafra Liberation Army left the town reeling, its people scared and unsure of what would come next. The Nigerian army, known for its strength and discipline, found itself in an unfamiliar position. Instead of showcasing its usual resolve, the military was making public pleas. They were urging the Biafra Liberation Army to cease fire, to lay down their weapons, and to stop the violence that had gripped Okigwe and other parts of Imo State. It was a plea that revealed the complexity of the situation, one that could not be solved with brute force alone. The Biafra Liberation Army, often referred to as the BLA, had been a persistent challenge for the Nigerian army. This group, born out of the ongoing agitation for the secession of Biafra from Nigeria, had grown increasingly bold and organized over the years. Their activities, fueled by the frustrations and aspirations of a section of the population, were a thorn in the side of the Nigerian government. The clash in Okigwe was just one of many confrontations between the military and the Biafra Liberation Army, but it highlighted the depth of the crisis. Meanwhile, as the military strategized and called for calm, another narrative was unfolding. The Indigenous People of Biafra, commonly called IPOB, issued a strong statement that sent ripples through the public. The leadership of the Indigenous People of Biafra, represented by their Directorate of State and their spokesperson, Emma Powerful, categorically denied any association with Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa, a man who had been making headlines, was described as a content creator based in Finland. Despite his claims and actions in the name of Biafra, the Indigenous People of Biafra made it clear that he was not a member of their organization. Simon Ekpa, who often referred to himself as the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, had become a controversial figure. From his base in Finland, he regularly posted videos and statements that he claimed were aimed at advancing the cause of Biafra. But his approach, marked by bold declarations and aggressive rhetoric, did not sit well with the Indigenous People of Biafra. According to Emma Powerful, Simon Ekpa's activities had nothing to do with their mission or their peaceful pursuit of self-determination through a referendum supervised by the United Nations. The statement from the Indigenous People of Biafra was firm and unambiguous. Emma Powerful described Simon Ekpa as a self-proclaimed leader who had no authorization from their group to speak or act on their behalf. The Indigenous People of Biafra emphasized that their movement was built on principles of non-violence and lawful advocacy. They viewed Simon Ekpa's actions as a distraction and a potential threat to their credibility. This public disassociation was not the first time the Indigenous People of Biafra had addressed the issue of Simon Ekpa. In fact, they had released several statements in the past, each one distancing themselves further from him and his so-called Biafra Republic government in exile. But Simon Ekpa's persistence and his ability to attract a following made it necessary for the indigenous people of Biafra to keep clarifying their position. As the days went by, the situation in Okigwe and its surrounding areas grew more complicated. Families who had lived in the region for generations found themselves packing up and leaving their homes. The violence and uncertainty made life unbearable for many. Businesses closed their doors, markets became eerily quiet, and schools were left empty. The once vibrant community was now a shadow of itself, its people scattered and its future uncertain. The Nigerian army, along with other security forces, launched a coordinated operation to restore order. Dubbed Operation Oka, this mission was aimed at flushing out the Biafra Liberation Army and other armed groups suspected of terrorizing the region. The operation was not without challenges. The terrain was difficult, riddled with landmines, and the armed groups were well hidden. Despite these obstacles, the security forces pressed on, determined to reclaim the area. During the operation, the Nigerian army uncovered hideouts and camps believed to belong to the Biafra Liberation Army. These locations, which were heavily fortified and strategically positioned, were a testament to the group's level of organization and preparedness. The discoveries also revealed the extent to which these groups had embedded themselves within the community. Some locals, either out of fear or loyalty, were hesitant to provide information to the military, further complicating the efforts to dismantle the armed groups. As the military intensified its operations, the Commissioner of Police in Imo State, Mohammed Ahmed Bade, made an appeal to the residents of the affected areas. He urged them to return to their homes, assuring them that the security forces were working tirelessly to ensure their safety. The Air Force commander in Imo State, Air Commodore David Bawa, echoed this sentiment. He called on the people to cooperate with the military by providing credible information that could help identify and apprehend the armed groups. The call for cooperation was not just about military strategy, it was also a plea for unity and trust. The authorities understood that lasting peace could not be achieved through force alone. It required the support and involvement of the community. But rebuilding trust in a region that had experienced so much violence and instability was no easy task. Meanwhile, the story of Simon Ekpa continued to unfold. News reports and social media posts kept the public intrigued and divided. Some saw him as a brave voice for Biafra, unafraid to challenge the status quo. Others viewed him as a rogue actor whose actions were more about personal gain than the collective good of the Biafran people. His claims about knowing the exact date when Biafra would be restored only added to the speculation and controversy. Simon Ekpa's activities also attracted the attention of international authorities. There were reports that his assets had been frozen by the Finnish Bureau of Investigation, although his supporters denied these claims. The uncertainty surrounding his legal status and his influence in the Biafran movement made him a polarizing figure both within Nigeria and abroad. Back in Imo State, the Nigerian army continued its operations. The soldiers, led by Brigadier General Raymond Utsaha, faced numerous challenges as they moved through the rugged terrain. But their determination was unwavering. They knew that restoring peace to the region was not just about defeating the Biafra Liberation Army. It was about giving the people of Okigwe and its neighboring communities a chance to rebuild their lives. The clash between the Nigerian army and the Biafra Liberation Army, the disassociation of Simon Ekpa by the indigenous people of Biafra, and the ongoing operations in Imo State all painted a complex picture of the struggle for Biafra. It was a story of conflict, identity, and the search for peace in a region that had seen more than its fair share of turmoil. As the year drew to a close, the people of Imo State hoped for a respite from the violence. They longed for a time when they could celebrate Christmas and New Year without fear. The Nigerian army, the indigenous people of Biafra, and even figures like Simon Ekpa all played a role in shaping the narrative. But at the heart of it all were the ordinary people, whose resilience and hope for a better future kept them going despite the challenges. In the end, the story of Okigwe and the broader Biafran movement is one that continues to unfold. It is a reminder of the complexities of history, the power of identity, and the enduring human desire for peace and justice. Whether through dialogue, action, or resilience, the people of the region are determined to write their own story, one that will be remembered for generations to come. The resilience of the people of Imo State became a silent testament to the power of community amidst chaos. Despite the gunfire, the uncertainty, and the trauma, life found a way to persist. Okigwe, once a bustling town known for its trade and cultural vibrancy, was now a symbol of resistance and hope. Families sought ways to rebuild, even as the scars of conflict lingered in their minds and on their lands. Children who had been forced to leave their schools due to the unrest became the focus of many local leaders' initiatives. Makeshift classrooms began to spring up in safer areas, run by volunteers determined to ensure that the next generation would not be denied an education. One such teacher, Neka Okoria, a retired school principal, became a beacon of hope for displaced families. Neka Okoria's passion for education was undeterred by the fear that gripped the region. She believed that knowledge could pave the way for peace and understanding, even in the most challenging times. The market became more than a place of trade. It was a space for people to connect, to share their stories, and to find solace in the presence of others who understood their struggles.
It's a community in Bicholi local government area of Imo State. This community borders Indiaba local government to the south and always local government to the north. Criminal activities of bandits suspected to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra and its under-affiliate Eastern Security Network have paralyzed economic activities in the community as many families have fled their homes and businesses and the market shut down. After over 3 weeks of sustained clearance operation by the Joint Security Task Force in Imo State, codenamed Operation Udoka, security chiefs in the state are here to assess the situation.
This one was actually hidden here. One there. And that's the one there. Yes, one here, one there.
According to the Army Commander 34 Artillery Brigade Imo State, Usman Lawal, the community was before the operation taken over by bandits suspected to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra and its under-affiliate Eastern Security Network for their terrorist activities.
This route speaks.
This is as the State Commissioner of Police Danjuma Aboki is calling on residents of the community to return to their homes, assuring them that the JTF will be on ground to provide security cover.
The main man, that is B44, he has endured so many human beings in this community. This player being his stronghold. If he kidnaps outside, he keeps them here. And the community are afraid of him. Some of the community don't have where to go. And after this operation, I think they will return back.
On his part, the Air Force Commander in Imo State, David Bello, appeals to Imo indigenes to support security operatives with necessary information to fight these terrorists.
I want to say that the military cannot do it alone. The people have come into the picture to give the military the necessary information that they need in order to flush out these criminals and terrorists from their hideouts. And that's why we are calling to the good people of Imo State to play their part in giving us credible information as to where we can get these people. They are hiding amongst them, most of them, and they know.
Christmas and New Year season is celebrated in peace and harmony.
Before leaving the camp, the Army Commander delivers a message from the General Commanding Officer 82 Division, who is the overall commander of Operation Udoka.
The terrain is a challenge. The camp of B44 is neighboring River Njaba. The camp is also heavily mined. But by the grace of God, we're moving.
With the unwavering commitment by troops of Operation Udoka to restore normalcy and peace. This operation will serve as a beacon of hope for indigenes of Imo State, especially during the youth time.
We have areas of funding both locally and internationally. For the local aspects, they have a means of, they have their followers that they've empowered that contribute money to what they are doing. They go through banditry, some of them get benefit from taxes. All these things they do from within, the kidnappings is all part of it where they raise funds. And then externally, we have external people that equally support them. The issue of IPOB. There's a lot of funding that comes in there. Yes.
Are you worried? Because you know an operation, you have a special operation on the sit-at-home IPOB situation in the southeast.
Yes.
But some of the elements and the leaders of these groups are outside of the country.
Yes. We have repeatedly complained about the issue of Simon Ekpa. He is in Finland. The Finnish government are giving him all the support and he's doing what he's doing. Comments he's making. People are being killed and nothing is being done. And this is democracy. If the European Union is the one supporting democracy and this is happening and they're not taking action, then they don't mean well for Nigeria. We have said that in clear terms. We need to diplomatically find means of getting him out of whatever it is that he's doing. He must be arrested, he must be prosecuted. Look at it from the other way. Assuming he is in Nigeria and he's doing that to the Finnish government, you think the European Union will allow that happen? They definitely will not. So why are they allowing him to do what he's doing? And people like him that are doing such things. Trailing the funds is very critical. I know a lot of the First Central Bank, the NFIU are doing a lot in tracking down how the funds flow. And this is part of what we call the oxygen of terrorism. Is logistic, leadership, and funding. Your ability to be able to tackle those things and trail them and deny them the ability to operate will kill terrorism with good governance. Now, you can see the statistics that came in. Political will. And political will is not from federal government alone. The states are critical. For me, if we look at the aspects, what do we need? Let's look at solutions. Do we have a comprehensive database as Nigerians? If you go to Chad, Cameroon, and Niger, once you enter, they know you are not a Nigerian. And they have this duty as citizens. Once you speak, the man knows you are not a Nigerian. The next thing he tells you, if he's a taxi driver, he tells you his vehicle has a problem. He's calling the gendarmes. Before you know it, the gendarmes are coming to ask you, what are you doing in our country? We don't have that. That's what we're saying is a holistic thing that we have to do. Every Nigerian has a role to play in what's going on ground, and then we must look at these things and take it up as a challenge. It's not a military or a security aspect. Everybody has a role to play in this, and that's what I'm saying.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.